Hi, good afternoon. Today we will be reviewing the Andy Griffith Show. Uh, it's season 1, episode 12, and it's Stranger in Town. I selected this episode, or the Andy Griffith Show in particular, because it's one of my favorites, so I would have something to really say of substance about this particular episode. I've watched, and I must also add that in the years of watching the Andy Griffith Show, this is the first time I'm seeing this one, and I can quite understand. The Stranger in Town, the plot doesn't follow suit to what the Andy Griffith Show has. There's no humor to it. You have a stranger who walks into town. He has detailed information about the townspeople of Mayberry. I call them the Mayberians, and nobody knows him, and they're curious. Their curiosity is piqued at the fact that he has all of this information about them. The scene opens up, and I'm simply telling the scene opens up where this man walks off the bus, and Andy and Barney and the barber they're in the barber shop. The stranger walks into the barber shop, and he knows Andy by name. Andy doesn't know, he's perplexed. Andy doesn't know who he is. And here starts the whole plot of the show. This stranger then walks out. He's able to identify the baby twins in the that's in a stroller. So it goes from very odd, the plot. It's serious, almost alien in nature. And one of the interesting things about it, it's based on this stranger who comes to town, who has detailed personal knowledge about everybody in the town. This then has the minds of the townspeople wondering who he is. There is Barney, who thinks that he may be a spy. Some people are alluding to the fact that he could be an alien. And so in my mind, the writers and producers, I think they got lost in this whole plot. And not only does it have this plot, the Andy Griffith Show is known for issues. Andy is someone who is a sheriff, and he also solves the issues that are going on, whatever they are. But it's done with great comedic relief. His sidekick Barney follows suit, and there is humor while he's a moral compass of Mayberry. We see that Andy does this when everybody is going against the new person, the stranger, and Ed Sawyer. This is the name of the stranger who comes to town. Barney would like to lock him away, and Andy's not for that. Andy wants to see who this person is. And I think probably that's the one good thing I could say about this episode. There is really no comedy apart from the two scenes in the barber shop when the barber is cutting Barney's hair, and they're making jokes about how he cuts hair and sticking the finger into Barney's ear as a guide. You know, obviously this barber is incompetent, but he is the town's barber. So that's the only two areas you find the comedy. What I would say, and I think for me the oddity is, I don't, to the end of this episode, understand what it is that they're trying to say. I think that they were starting off with a preference that it could have been this man is an alien, and then they stopped midstream, and we see it's just very disjointed. And as you can hear, even after my analysis, I am disjointed in trying to draw a conclusion on this episode. Ed Sawyer, the stranger, is very odd in himself, in his acting. He's also disjointed in how he behaves. Not only does he have this knowledge, he makes no desire to share what he knows and that how he got all of this information. He's just going from buying the filling station to knowing who jumped out of a window in the hotel. He says nothing to anybody. He wants to date this young girl. Just very disjointed. In saying all of that, one of the things that I am grasping at straws to say is that probably the plot allows us, the producers were trying to show the audience at that time that although Mayberry is an idyllic, utopian, wholesome society, that they too have these flaws that are not as simple as just brushing it off that they're humans as well. In terms of, we see this idyllic, wholesome town. You would think a stranger comes into town and they would embrace him. They have gone ahead, jumped to conclusions, and what we find is that when they cannot discover who this gentleman is, they are going to the police. And that's more modern day. It's like stalking. When the young lady goes to the police station to say that Ed has been to her home. We then see, after Andy discovers who Ed is and what his reason is for visiting Mayberry and wanting to buy the filling station and wanting to be a part of Mayberry, that they go outside the police station, and there it is. There's a mob style mentality. There was about a fracas was about to ensue simply because they did not know who this man was. The entire townspeople were around him, and there was going to be a fight. Had Andy not come out to resolve to tell them what was going on, there would have been a physical fight going on. And this shows you two things. It shows you that the people of Mayberry, although very kind to each other and they know each other very well, they're like us humans. Nobody wants their privacy to be invaded. Nobody likes people knowing personal details that you don't know who the person is. The person is a stranger and they have this sort of information. So we see that with with how the people of Mayberry behaved, and we also see that they can get angry. They are ready to take action. At the same time, we have to give credit to how it ended. Andy once again comes with his moral compass, and he says he's embarrassed, he's ashamed that his people would come together like this to surround somebody and about to beat them down simply because they cannot understand who he is. And that's Andy. He goes on to share who Ed Sawyer is, why Ed Sawyer is there. Ed Sawyer came to town because he was reading their leaflets, and so he loved the town and he wanted to move here. He was in the army, and one of his army buddies was part of Mayberry. He used to live in Mayberry. I would say I understand in all the years of watching the marathons that this Andy Griffith show was not a good one. I cannot say that they accomplished what they wanted to, because at this point I have no idea what they were trying to accomplish from this episode. The only thing I can say is they were able to come together and get it right at the end, that Andy once again saved the day by being the moral compass and resolving the issue that this stranger wasn't really a stranger. He was, but he wanted to live there. And at the end of the day, the Mayberryans came around and they invited Ed Sawyer into their life as a part of